Look, I think that the theme of this convention was really one of unity. This was a time when we have to come together to defeat a president who is the most evil, the most corrupt that any of us have seen. And that says a lot. It also was a time when we saw two nominees who we as progressives know we can work with. Kamala Harris' sister, who introduced her, Maya, is the former head of the ACLU of Northern California. Kamala ran for DA in a much more conservative time, and yet did so as an outspoken opponent of the death penalty, who then held her ground early in her term when she was tested, when an officer was killed. And the entire liberal establishment in Northern California came down on her, and she said the death penalty is wrong, period. Tremendous courage. And Joe Biden, who Bernie himself said is poised to be the most progressive president since FDR. And so while it's not Bernie, and while maybe it's not somebody else someone hoped for, what we do know is that these are people that we can work with. These are people who at their best represent our best values. Literally the daughter of a civil rights activist, the sister of a civil rights lawyer, who herself told me 15 years ago she became a prosecutor because it wasn't enough to just fight the power. We also had to hold the power. And I've seen her act courageously. So I'm very hopeful. And I have no doubt that we can work with Joe. I mean, like Addie, who spoke so beautifully, and that was a true highlight for me. I believe that we must move towards Medicare for all. I also believe that Joe Biden will take us further in that direction, certainly than Donald Trump, and frankly, further than most presidents. That we have an opportunity here to move things in the right direction again. And as organizers, that's the most important thing to get out of any presidential election, is a president that you can move in the right direction.
I agree with Brother Ben in terms of being part of an anti-fascist coalition. That I think we're forced to vote for Biden, but we're not going to lie about Biden. We're not going to lie about Harris. We're going to tell the truth about their captivity and their refusal to hit Pentagon money spending and militarism around the world, to hit Wall Street greed, and to also speak substantively to issues of poverty. You can't have massive protests all around the country, the largest in the history of the country. You can't have Brother Barber and Sister Thea Harris out there talking about poverty, and then when you get to the convention, you get this spectacle that has nothing to do with wrestling with poverty. I think Brother Corey was the only one to even talk about it for the most part. None of the major figures did. Thank God that Bernie, thank God AOC got her little 90 minutes as opposed to the Republicans
90 seconds.
getting major, call it. I'm sorry, 90 seconds, exactly, 90 seconds. So that, I'm with Ben in terms of we got to vote for Biden, but never, ever lying about him and not coming to terms with the fact that at this moment, with the decline and fall of the American empire, it looks as if the system is unable to generate enough energy to seriously reform itself. It remains sanitized, superficial. We getting Lawrence Welk's bubbles rather than Prince's Revolution. I want to go to the Prince's Revolution concert. I want fundamental change.